Charlie Morgan doesn't make millions because he's built a Skool community. He makes millions because he's built a machine. Most people think having a Skool community is where you make all the money, but it's not. It's just one part of the customer journey. So in this video, I'm going to reverse engineer every stage to how he gets attention, to how he nurtures, to how he builds trust, to how he closes these sales, and how he keeps customers buying. And if you run a Skool community or you're thinking about starting one, you can steal this exact framework. So this is how Charlie Morgan makes millions with his Skool community. We're going to be breaking it down, starting off with how he gets traffic. What do I mean by traffic? I mean attention of any sort. So this is his YouTube channel. Starting off with his YouTube channel, he gets around 31k to 14k to 16k. So he gets a fair amount of attention coming in from his YouTube channel. What does he do with his attention? He directs it towards his Skool community link, which is his first link in the description. And it's like that in every single YouTube video. This is kind of what his subscription will tend to look like. He'll have his main offer, which is how to make 10k online with AI, free to join. So you click on that link and it redirects you. Essentially what he's doing here in a nutshell is driving attention to his free offer. So what happens when you click on this link in the description? Essentially you're redirected to this page. In this page, now we're going into the sales process because this is a landing page that calls out his ideal customer profile and what they want. So get the exact system to go from 0 to 10k, and he calls out agency owners, coaching or consulting businesses. Essentially, this landing page is carefully designed for those types of people. So once you watch the video, you'll want to click join the academy for free. I feel like one of the reasons that he drives people to this landing page rather than his Skool community is because he can fit more information in here. Because at the moment with the Skool community, you can only fit around 1,000 characters in. Essentially, I feel like he's doing that for this reason here, because why would he be sending traffic here rather than straight to his Skool community about page, which is essentially another landing page? So yeah, you get sent to this page, you click join the academy for free. Like I said, it's calling out marketing agencies, coaches and consultants. What he's essentially doing here is saying, look, you're the viewer, I'm promising you this, and there's a free call to action. Low friction offer for a highly specific ICP. The social proof is 66k plus members, exact system behind the 350 million in sales. And you can see that here, which it says join 66k members, which is kind of outdated out now because it's got a lot more members. Now, if you click this big red button, how does he capture the lead? This is how it's done. You'll click the button, you have to complete your details, you have to fill out this information, first name, email, and your phone number. And the reason they do this is because now they've got access to your email. Now they can actually put you into a sequence, which is email marketing essentially. And also they can get in contact with you via phone. You're basically going from an anonymous viewer to an identified lead. So they now own part of your data. The whole point of this is to get the lead into Imperium Academy. Now we get into the juicy part, which is the conversion engine. What happens with this free Skool community ecosystem? Essentially, it is a conversion engine with 71,000 members inside. So diving in, this is the about page. Now, this about page is written specifically to convert, especially on Skool. What they're doing here is they're saying, this is the fastest path to financial freedom, and this is the main offer. Start an agency or coaching business and get your first client in 6 weeks. This crushes. They're saying that you're going to get your first client in 6 weeks. If you are a beginner, if you are a coaching business, if you're an agency owner, this is most of the time what you're looking to achieve. So what you get inside is 42 exclusive videos, 80 hours of world-class business training from a 40 million CEO, 300 plus step-by-step docs and resources to achieve financial freedom, copy and paste templates for acquisition, sales, finances, and more. The entire A to Z sales script that made me 40M, plus selling online, 2 secret appointment blocking systems to get clients fast, live community support, get question answers fast, full high ticket offer training, including templates, blueprints, and more. This is exactly what you want. You know, if you're a beginner, I definitely feel like if you're a beginner and also a mid-sized agency owner, this is exactly what you're looking for. Also, you're getting access to weekly Q&A recordings with Charlie. This is just a no-brainer. Opportunities, get clients and jobs from other people, millionaire network, build your network, meet people IRL and grow. And then once again, the CTA in a shorter version at the end. Join for free now and land client #1 in 6 weeks or less. Beautifully written. Why I pick. Value saturation. Having a free Skool community doesn't mean this is low value. What Charlie's doing essentially is instead of pitching cold traffic, He's routing those leads into an ecosystem where trust compounds passively over days and weeks. So the lead's consuming value and it's building trust. So this free ecosystem is designed literally for that. You know, what's happening in here is you're getting an insane amount of value. Therefore, you're building trust with this Charlie Morgan guy, right? I'm essentially joining this, and it's going to be an insane amount of value. I'm going to trust this guy. I'm going to want to buy what this guy has if he fulfills these promises. If I feel like what I get from this course is actually genuinely valuable. Now, how has he architected this freemium model? Well, if we go into the classroom section, this is what we'll find. Week 1, business genesis, where you start. Week 2, self-transcendence. 6 and 7 figure case studies, free bonuses in tech, and then the rest is unlocked with premium, which is client results, closing clients, booking appointments, operations and finances, and 10K a month growth playbook. So this is the classroom overview. You've got weeks 1 to 7 laid out as a curriculum. The free value is week 1 and 2, and 7 figure case studies. And then the ascension side is the client results, which is the premium, the closing clients, the booking appointments, operations, finances, 10K a month growth playbook. Essentially, what we're looking at here is that the product itself creates the desire to ascend. The fact that this product here, what he's giving away for free, creates the desire to get onto the premium. So now moving into this section, which is the value saturation. I say this because the amount of value provided in this week 1 business genesis is absolutely outstanding. And this is coming from a guy that makes a lot of money. So week 1 is essentially mindset. And I've noticed that going through a few of the modules myself, a lot of them are 3 hours long, 2 hours long, 1.5 hours long. You're getting saturated with value here. And it's not just wishy-washy stuff. It's actually genuine value that can help you scale your business, help you get the right mindset in order to achieve a really good result with your business. Literally one module that's basically nearly 3 hours on a free lesson. So essentially what he's doing here is he's creating depth, he's creating usefulness and time. He's taking a lot of your time because it's like 3 hours that you're consuming his content, binging his content or whatever. So it makes you more likely to buy. As the marketing principle says that, you know, the more hours you consume of a person, the more likely you are to buy their stuff. And that creates trust, creates authority with this guy. You start seeing this guy as an authority figure. You start trusting this guy because of the stuff that he says is really valuable. So now taking a look into the proof engine. Now this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look how many case studies he has on here. It's crazy. You know, we're looking at like 20 plus inside this alone. And you get access to it. So from here, I've noticed that watching a few of these videos, you can really relate to these people. And you can really see how you can get to 10 to 20K a month in 3 months. If this guy can do it, I can do it too, right? So that's the idea behind all of this. You're asking yourself, can this work? Seeing with case studies that people like me are doing it. So you want to get to that next level. You want to be like them. So education builds competence and the case studies build belief, which is so true, you know, because you start getting really good. You start thinking with this mindset stuff that you're learning that you can build a business, you can genuinely build a business. And therefore, you start watching the case studies and you start believing that you can build the business. Now, I can actually make this work. Look at this guy who works a 9 to 5 and he's made it work. So can I. You know, you start really relating. And he probably interviews those people that are exactly like you. The ICP coaching guy, the guy that wants to build an agency. They've probably interviewed thousands of these people, so they know exactly what kind of videos to make, which is really brilliantly crafted in my opinion. Embedded ascension. So I don't know if you guys have noticed yet, but throughout the whole video, you keep seeing call to actions at the end of, for example, when he does the case studies, or for example, at the end of every module. What he's trying to do here is get you to ascend. You're consuming the value, and in that moment, you're sort of more likely to, you know, get motivated and buy. You see how all of this is carefully crafted and designed in order to not manipulate you, but you need to sort of become aware of these marketing strategies in order to ascend these people. Like, it's all been well thought out. Do you know what I mean? Even the copy. Join VIP for 9% off, limited time only, and access our entire AI business building system. You're getting 90% off now. This program's normally 3.5K, but we've partnered with a company and they're covering access for new members. So I don't know how much they're going to sell it for. Where they're saying 90% off, So it's probably around like the 350 range. But who knows? You may jump on this sales call and they send it to you for 1,500, pushing it on every like training, case study, classroom, also inside the community. They're giving out bonuses. All of this to just ascend you to the Imperium VIP. Literally, the upsell is embedded inside the product experience everywhere. It's normally 3,500. Now they're like creating urgency with limited time framing, application only, which also filters the prospects, filters the people, gets you more committed in order to, like, when you jump on that sales call, that you're going to actually buy their product. And 90% off messaging. All of this just shows that they know how to do marketing. So now for the nitty gritty. What happens when you click on that premium link? Well, you get directed to this page, which is the high ticket bridge, right? Get the complete AI system to build a 10K a month business. AI is what's popping at the moment. He's probably found out that through his ideal customer profile, people are more likely to buy an AI system that's going to get them to 10K. Especially with this guy who's made 40 M's, who's made God knows how many M's. So here is another landing page that probably calls out what it is that they want. The same system scripts and funnels that have made my business over 40 M. Now I've watched through this video and they are giving you 90% off, and they're sort of saying that they've partnered with these businesses, Wix, these big companies that are just, paying for the software. Therefore, they're creating this insanely ridiculous offer. And when you click on apply for access, only apply for access if you're committed to this call, if you're actually going to show up to the call, if you're actually willing to invest, if you're actually willing to get to that next level. They only accept serious people. And, if you book in a call and you don't show up, you won't be able to book the call again, which I think is really good in order to, filter out those people that aren't serious and actually get those people that are, and get those people converting. Get loads of access to these AI models, which is like Charlie and the thousands and thousands and thousands of conversations he's had. So you have like an AI bot of Charlie that you can ask questions to. Basically, have access to this AI business builder that you just build out the whole business and just worry about the selling side yourself, but not have to worry too much about, building out the website, building out the landing page. I feel like it's a really good offer. And if we look at like the Ascension page, this is how it looks. This is the overview. You're a free member, then you become a high intent buyer. And to be honest, going through this funnel myself, I'd probably buy this product. I feel like this is really well done. I feel like I trust Charlie. The information that he's giving me is super valuable. So I land on this landing page and I apply for his thing. That is like the ideal thing. And going through his customer journey has made me want to do that. So it just goes to show that he's done it well. Prospect reaches the application after already consuming value improved. This is, the epitome of marketing. This is what you need to do for your Skool community. If you really want to scale it, if you really want to build it up, you need to be thinking about giving value, and the rest comes after. So this is once you click in the VIP to book the call. This is the, confirmation page. And when you click continue, eventually you get those questions that say you have to show up, and if you miss the call, then, you're not going to get the call again. But this is what the page looks like. They get your phone number again, they get your name, they get your last name. I'm sure they give you a call once you enter that information by the appointment setter or whoever. And yeah, you get that sales process, which will be a high ticket client at the end. This is the overview. Fill out the form, you book the call, you hop on the call, and high ticket client. Voila. Beautiful. The sales guy only talks to you once you've gone through the ecosystem, and they've built trust with you. They've built authority. Charlie's built authority with you, and now you desire the product. So I feel like it's always interesting to go through the psychological layer of these funnels, because it all boils down to that in the end. Each stage of the funnel maps out the state of mind. The system engineers a sequence of feelings, not just clicks. So you're not really just clicking around. You're clicking around, but you're, first of all, have a feeling. Maybe you got pulled in through a thumbnail of Charlie Morgan or a title. You clicked on that. The hook got you engaged. And then you started feeling like, this is interesting. What is this link in the description to his free Skool community? And then you start feeling like, maybe I could get my first client in 6 weeks. Then you start consuming the content in the classroom, and you're like, maybe I could be like this guy from this case study and make my first 10K in 3 months, so on. And then you go into like book the call, etc. So the YouTube grabs the attention to the free promise, which creates curiosity, and then they capture you as a lead. So you're committed. You're in the free academy. They're creating trust with you. You go into deep training, which creates authority around Charlie. And then you see the case studies, you start believing. And then the community also creates that environment where you feel like you see other people doing it, etc. You can talk to other people. Super value, a lot of value inside of this community. And then you have the CTA, VIP CTA, which is creating desire. You start seeing it 90% off. You start seeing other people buying it. You know, you gain that desire to want to buy that product. And then you apply, which you have the intent. You know, now you've been through all of these sequence of things. Now you have the intent to buy. Only then they get you on the sales call and they monetize. I always like to take away a core insight from all of this, from all these funnels that we analyze. With Charlie's one specifically, I feel like defines it, which is the free community isn't just the lead magnet, it's the conversion engine. Like this whole free school community isn't basically your typical lead magnet where customer gets access and then they start getting nurtured. It's so much more than that. It's more of a conversion engine, like we discussed in this video. It's designed, it's crafted beautifully and using different marketing tactics and strategies. The overview of the whole thing is attention to acquisition, to value to trust, to proof to ascension, to application to sale. And you can do this too with your Skool community. Just look at these principles and take one step at a time. You know, put one foot in front of the other. When thinking about attention, just think, what can I do to create that? Really, it's quite obvious when you just think about putting one foot in front of the other. If I create a YouTube video and I put a link there, and in that link, I create something where, you know, I actually genuinely give value. And because of that value, there's genuinely, it can't be just like wishy-washy. Then that person starts trusting me. But if that person decides to hop on a call with me and I help them even further, they help them get 2-3K a month, then I can record that and build my proof. And then with that proof, I can use that to get the next member in my Skool community to buy my ascension. And therefore, I create an application and a sales process around that. So finally, going into the revenue engine, which is the end-to-end loop. I don't know what you guys thought of Charlie Munger funnel, but I definitely feel like it's one of the best ones out there. Looking at this whole system again is YouTube attention, free lead coming in to a free school, creating value, creating trust, creating proof, VIP ascension, qualified application, high ticket sale. Now, this isn't like easiest funnel to do, but it's up there. I know that probably one of the most easiest funnels to do on Skool right now is just YouTube attention to Skool community link to the about page to conversion. But trust me, all of this kind of goes into, if you're deciding to just go from attention to page straight away, there has to be some sort of value created, some sort of trust and proof already built in the YouTube channel. So what he's doing as well is like, if you don't get that from the YouTube channel, once you get into the free Skool community, you get that there too. Whereas other people don't do that. Some people that just do like directly from YouTube channel to paid Skool community, they've already built that trust up with their YouTube videos. So I feel like Charlie does that really well, which is he does that on YouTube, but he also does that with his landing page, with his free Skool community. So the loop is results, case studies, more proof. So as he carries on getting these results in the free Skool community, in the VIP, you know, he builds more and more case studies, more and more authority, more and more testimonials, more and more proof. So the loop feeds itself. Every client outcome becomes fuel for the next cohort, whether it be the next cohort, whether it be the next VIP offer. This guy's just carrying on making his meals. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you very much, and until the next one.